All right, so today is Wednesday, September the 28th. It's hard for me to remember date numbers anymore. It's just so inconsequential. It doesn't matter. Time does not exist. So I don't like to bind my mind with remembering numbers, dates, and things like that. But anyways, I like to put them on here so that when you watch this, you know the episode that you are watching. And today is September the 28th, 2022. This has been quite an auspicious year, and we're coming to the close of this year. We've got the last quarter ahead of us, and I am certain it's going to be a doozy. So the inspiration that I keep receiving with A Course in Miracles is to use the teachings to prepare people. Not only is it to prepare people for what's coming on the outside, but it's a preparation. Oh, excuse me. Opened up the windows and it's fall, and I'm allowing all the fall particles to come on in, and they've been tickling my nose today. But anyways, the Course in Miracles is preparing us not just for what's happening on the outside as the world is crumbling, but it's the map of how to navigate the inside, because the outside that is crumbling is made up by people who have an interior that has not been navigated. So those who are so steadfast, holding on to the old ways, wanting to keep the old systems, they haven't done the internal work. So they are not the change that is going to create a new earth. We are the change that is creating a new earth when we navigate our interior, when we use the map that has been given to us with A Course in Miracles and navigate what is going on the inside. We see that it's not only is it necessary, but it becomes automatic that a new earth gets created. Because once you operate from love, from consciousness, from oneness, from gentleness and abundance and trust and generosity and honesty, you're a different person. And a different person that vibrates at a different frequency is going to do different things. You cannot, in a space that is loving and generous, continue to operate in lack and attachments. Those two are opposite frequencies. They are opposite things. So once you know who you are, once you reclaim your sovereignty, you never lost it. You were just using it to play the story that you're a victim. That's okay. You came here to do that. And then we play the game that we are going to leave that world, the 3D world of enslavement, and we are going to return our mind to where it should be, where it's always been, with God. And then we begin to remember the truth of who we are, and then we operate from the truth of who we are. So to be able to experience a new earth, you cannot continue to operate as if the old earth is real. You have to see the old earth as the crumbling systems of the old way of being. But the new way of being has to be cultivated, practiced, embodied, and shared. And as we share who we are showing up as, this new world is getting co-created seamlessly, because the doctors with the new ways of healing are meeting the patients who want a new way of healing, and they're coming together, and nothing can stop them coming together over here. The ones who are afraid, the ones who need to be told what to do, who are not looking for a new way, who want the old system, they're staying over here. And it's okay. We have to accept and respect that everyone is a powerful, sovereign soul choosing the human experience that they want to have. Because what happens in this incarnation sets the stage for the next one. So in this incarnation, you're either moving to the new earth, or in this incarnation, you are holding on, clinging to the old earth. And that is perfectly okay. Nobody is going to be in any way, shape, or form in trouble for staying in the old earth. It's a choice. God loves us all, no matter where we choose to go. What is absolutely evident is that there is a bifurcation, because those who are complete with the old are leaving it behind. Now, many that are done with the old are in that energy pulling out. They are the ones who are going to be experiencing guilt. They're going to be experiencing shame for being bamboozled. They're the ones experiencing anger. They're the ones who are going to be experiencing the anger that pushes them into revenge. So this side is going to be embroiled in a karmic situation that for a couple of lifetimes, they're going to have to work out that karma. But it is necessary for everybody to play the roles that they're playing, because it is the ones who are going to go into the energy of revenge that are going to help topple the old, bringing all of it down so that this side basically is going to be leveled. And in that energy, in that frequency, lower frequency that believes in, others should have power, there's going to be new systems that are going to be created still in hierarchy, but they're going to be better than what was there before. They're going to appear to be better. This side that doesn't want hierarchy, that really wants transparency, wants people in government in service, not servant leaders, not career politicians, they are not going to put up with that. So what is going to happen over here is going to be a world that is going to be co-created. More people are going to have a say. And then there's going to be somewhere in the middle that are not going to know quite sure which way to go. And when this side stands grounded and firm in their light, showing what is possible, many are going to come this way. And some are going to see, oh, they're fixing the old medical system. They're fixing the old, insurance system. They're going to go back. And there's going to be a parting of the seas. And it is perfectly okay. There is nothing wrong with anybody choosing to be where they want to be, because we're all creators of our own reality. But in another generation, there will be a clear bifurcation. There will be a clear distinction between what is low frequency and what is not. Let me hold on a quick second. Sorry about that. Little puppy making some noise. But anyways, so what we have here today is an opportunity to make a choice, a big choice, an important choice, a choice that is based on either awareness of the truth or a desire to block the truth. And none of us would say, oh, I desire to make my suffering. No, we wouldn't say that. But at a soul level, because it's the ego that wouldn't say that, at a soul level, when we acknowledge, yeah, I created the obstacles that created the suffering that let me have the life experience that I've had, because it helped me get to here. And when you can love what got you here, when you love the stairs that got you here, you stand victorious, because you stand finally acknowledging how powerful you are. When you see how low you let yourself go by the choices that you made, you'll never do that again. But you can choose not to do that again and put all of your energy towards the creation of the expansion until you own all of it. While we are denying that we did that to ourselves, we are stuck to it until we can embrace it and love it and thank it. Oh, you showed me what I don't want. You showed me I don't like separation. I don't like judgment. I don't like hating on others. I don't like guilt. I don't like shame. I don't want to operate in jealousy. I am not going to operate in revenge. I do not like for one bit being anxious and uncomfortable. I'm done with living my life that way, because to do that, you have to shrink. You have to lie to yourself and pretend you're not the powerful creator that you are, to shift towards the experiencing what you do want. You must acknowledge you created it all. And in the contrast, this is all I want. And when you decide this is all you want and you align with the essence of the God energy in you, then it's not even a choice. You're just being what you are, the powerful creator who chose to do that other thing. Now you're just being what you are, because you're no longer choosing to block your truth and then have the experience of the opposite. So today, as I was sitting, okay, what are we going to talk about today? Opened up the Course in Miracles, and I was guided to go to the text. We haven't done the text here in a very long time. And where I landed was so perfect. I'm in chapter 29 of the text. So the first part of the book, called The Awakening. I am in section number 7. Section number 7, the title of it is Seek Not Outside Yourself. So if you happen to have, let's see, this one is edition 2. Yeah, second edition. I'm in page 617. In this particular section, Seek Not Outside Yourself is so perfect for what's happening in the world, because the world that the ego created is because it is designed to seek outside of ourselves. We go outside for safety. We go outside for healing. We go outside for abundance. We go outside for love. We go outside for government. Who tells us what to do? Because we were indoctrinated since the time that we were itty bitty to believe, because that's what our parents thought, that they knew better. Teachers knew better, government knew better, business, owners knew better, everybody knew better. We became outer focused. So the outside world is what had power, is what knew better, is what we listened and bowed to. Now, when we begin to move down this path, we realize there's nothing outside of us. Everything that we could possibly ever need to connect with, want to connect with, is already inside. Safety is inside. Financial abundance is directed from a state of mind inside. Peace is on the inside. Relationships, successful relationships, are from the inside. Safety, your well-being, healing is from the inside. Once you know that everything you really want that has any kind of value is on the inside, you don't go outside anymore. You experience the outside from an interior space. You are grounded, seated in the center of your being, the presence of awareness, aware that there is a world, you're in it. Oh, there's the house, there's the car, there's the lover, there's the dog, there's the mountains, there's the airplane. You're in the world and you see all of these things that are there. God in all of them, expressing itself, being all that it can be. But you are not of it, meaning your higher self, your true self, stays here. When we become of it, in it and of it, is because we go out. It's like we disconnect from our truth that is in here, and we go out. It's like seeking out there, and then we create attachments and we create cords that have us I have to have that, and that's my house, and that's my man, and that's my, my child, and that's my money. And it's in it and of it. But when you are grounded in who you are, you don't need to do that. So let's go and read this paragraph, or start with the sentences of the paragraph. So seek not outside of yourself. Paragraph number 1, sentence number 1, seek not outside yourself, for it will fail, and you will weep each time an idol falls. What are idols? Idols is when we make we put something on a pedestal and say, I idolize you, I bow to you. Government, external medical establishments, movie stars, bosses, spouses, children, sports stars. We make them idols. Money is on the biggest, tallest pedestal. So when you bow to that, you can be certain at some point that idol is going to fall. That movie star is going to do an egoic thing, and you're going to be so disappointed that they did that, and then you're going to be heartbroken. The business that you thought was so amazing and you put all your money into it, they're going to do something that's going to falter. Right now, we're watching. Everything that was tied to the old money systems is crumbling. It has to. All idols are going to fall. Medical establishment that we went to get our well-being from the outside. I did it too. I lined up all my little babies to go get all those crazy shots when they were little. I filled their little bodies up with poisons that I now, when they're grown, realize, oh my gosh, what was I doing? I was bound to the idol of medical establishment. I was bound to the idol of government knows better than me. I was disconnected from my intuitive knowingness. Well, I was disconnected from mine. My mom was disconnected and helped me learn to praise the idols outside because that's what she did. And she learned it from her grandmother who did the same. And then they sure learned it from the previous generation. So we've been handing down generation after generation this misinformation that you're born, you're somehow, not very bright, have an empty head, have nothing inside of you. You're empty. That's why they got to keep feeding you and filling you up. And then they think, well, let's fill up their heads too. And we're going to fill up their hearts. We're going to tell them what love is. We're going to tell them what they need to do to, find Prince Charming and live happily ever after. So we were raised by wolves. We were raised by people who were so disconnected from the truth of who they are because their parents were disconnected and so on, so on. Now we are the generation that is getting to observe the crumbling of the old as we make a choice to cross the bridge into the new. Well, as you cross the bridge into the new, look back because you're going to watch the idols falling. It must be that way. Why? It is stated right here. When you seek outside of yourself, it not only will it fail, but you will weep each time an idol falls. A lot of people are weeping right now. A lot of people upset that they don't, have enough money to pay for whatever, the basic necessities. The gas prices are so high. All of that is happening because we have had people in positions of power that we put there. This is why we have to take responsibility for we create our reality. We put them there. And if you didn't vote, you didn't participate in getting rid of them. Now, if you've been one of the very few who have been pointing at what they've been doing, who have been attempting to get attention brought to the insanities of the government, who've been trying to, in many cases, topple those governments or create new systems, and people thought you were crazy and some kind of a conspiracy theorist, thank you for your service. Today, we are seeing the truth. And the truth is that we have used our power to create a world that is collapsing. Okay, been there, done that, tried it, don't like it anymore. But you must acknowledge that you contributed your energy to that so that you can take your energy back, turn around and cross the bridge. But watch the idols fall because they are falling right before our eyes. So sentence number 3, heaven cannot be found where it is not, and there can be no peace excepting there. Heaven is the only place with peace, and where is heaven? The kingdom of heaven is within. We've been told this for thousands of years. The kingdom of heaven, the place of peace, is within. Are you looking for some peace? Don't look for it where it's not. Look for it where it is. Come inside. Connect with source within. Each idol that you worship when God calls will never answer in his place. Meaning, when you get the call to return to the truth of who you are, when you get the call to align with God, nothing is going to stop you from moving in the direction of that voice. It cannot. Why? Because when God calls, those idols, they cannot answer. They will not satisfy you the way that the aligning with a call for God for you will. And where is God? I point over here, but where is God? God's in here. And that's part of the lies that we've been told. The idols of the church that told us that God was outside of us. Well, those idols were people listening to their ego who said, I can control these people and they'll bow down to me if I tell them that I know what God says. And then I tell them that God is outside on a cloud somewhere. They'll never be able to find God. So I'll train them out of knowing where God is. Not only will they worship me, put me on a pedestal and make me their idol, but then I can get money from them. I can get 10% from them or more. I can even get their children. I can indoctrinate a whole world. I can do all kinds of devious, evil things. Why? Because we have been taken down the path of making idols out of people who are listening to the ego. If you want to get a relationship with God, you have to come inside. And when God calls you in, it's very difficult to say no to that calling because it will gnaw at you forever. Now, you can resist it. I know I did many times, resisted the call for peace when I needed to get righteous and judgmental and, be the know-it-all. That was me blocking God and worshiping the idol of my ego. But at some point, when you cross the bridge and you're far enough that you know, wait a second, I'm doing this to me. That's why we have to take full responsibility. We created it all. We're still creating it. While we are dilly-dallying with the ego and blocking God, we're still creating. The creation never stops. We either do it totally consciously or we continue to block it. That's the only options. But creating, we will do that. We're creators, made in the image of the Creator. To create. So sentence number 5, there is no other answer you can substitute and find the happiness his answer brings. There is no way, none whatsoever, you will ever find total, complete, everlasting happiness than when you come inside. You will experience that, what I call happily ever now, eternally, because you find a level of contentment, a level of peace, a level of enjoyment of all that is. Yeah, even enjoying the crumbling of what's crumbling because you know what's coming on the other side. You can see it for the process that it is. It is the ugly part of the birthing of the new. So you're not going to judge the ugly, painful part. You're going to be focused on the new that is being birthed, and then you see because you understand what's happening. Well, that ability to enjoy what is, that ability to not judge it, comes from a place deep within where you have connected with God, the voice for God, and inside you're inner guided, inside you know what peace is, and you know where to return to. That is what happiness is about. Happiness is remembering you and God are one. Happiness is remembering you're the creator of your reality, no exceptions. Anything that happens in your reality, you take total and complete responsibility for how you respond to it. And your happiness comes from knowing I respond to whatever it is, however I want to. If you respond with a little bit of fear, you know what? You forgive yourself. You quickly forgive yourself and you make that turn around and come back inside where you go, okay, let me remember the truth of who I am. Let me not entertain these fearful, judgmental, whatever thoughts, unless there's something about them that I need to look at. And when you look at them, then you know what to do appropriately, but always with 100% responsibility that it has to happen in here. For all your pain comes simply from the futile search for what you want, insisting where it must be found. I can only be happy with that one partner. I can only be happy with that one job. I can only be happy when I have $1 million. Oh, no, now I can only be happy when I have 2 million. Wait, I got 2 million. I wasn't happy. So I must only be able to be happy with 3 million. Wait, I got 3 million and I'm still not happy. I can only be happy with 4 million. And you see how the world over thousands and thousands of years, many, many generations, all the money accumulates with just a few, because once you get on that bandwagon, you can only be happy with so much. And then it keeps going up and you're part of that family. You're going to continue to be part of that family that's expanding that. And equally, you become part of the family that is having less and less and less because it's moving, it's shifting. Energy is shifting to the one side because that's the way that they're working inside of the polarity of duality. When we move to the new earth, when we move to the 5D consciousness, we're not even going to have money. We're not even going to need those things. We're going to be operating at a different frequency. The creations are going to be instantaneous. You don't have to work for money. You want something, you manifest it. From here to here, we're probably a couple of 100 years away. The bridge from here to there is the journey of coming inside. So we have to get clear that there's nothing outside of us. The mind has to be trained into knowing and remembering that, and then acting from that place. Everything gets done from that place, that knowingness. That takes a while to cultivate. It takes a while to be comfortable in that. It took me a long time to shift from believing that others had no power over me to embodying my power. I'm going to say 10 years, probably 10 years, maybe even a little bit longer. I've been on this journey 20 years of knowing, wait a second, I cannot continue to give anything power. I cannot give power to anything external, the weather, nothing. It had to be totally here, because then I began to realize I get to decide if I'm going to lose my serenity or I'm going to keep it. Am I going to be peaceful or not? Am I going to experience joy and enjoy what's in front of me or not? Well, I decided to enjoy all that's in front of me. I don't feel sorry for anybody, because everybody is a powerful soul having the experience that they want to have. Whether they remember that or not, it's none of my business. It's not for me to judge. It is for me to acknowledge the powerful creators that all of us are. That's a very important thing that happens when you become inner directed. So stop looking outside of yourself for perfection. Stop looking outside of yourself for anything. It's all in here. So let me read this sentence again because it ties to the next one. So for all your pain comes simply from the futile search for what you want, insisting where it can be found outside. What if it's not there? Do you prefer to be right or happy? This is one of the most powerful statements in A Course in Miracles. Do you prefer to be right or happy? And people say, well, I like being right. And when I'm right, I am happy. Well, that's always coming from the ego, because the ego makes such silly statements. When you know true happiness, it's a happiness that you don't need to be right. You just know truth. I don't walk around needing to be right about gravity. It just is. I'm happy that I know how to use the gravity. I'm happy being here. I'm happy if I jump out of an airplane. I'm happy if I don't. The happiness stays, but I don't need to be right that gravity is going to pull everything down. It is what is. I don't need to be right that we're all one. It is what is. I don't need to be right that the old is crumbling. It is what is. All idols must fall. There is no way. We're seeing it very clearly. Everything that is not of God is crumbling for those who are making the choice to do God's will again. So as we use our free will to align with God's will, we're going to have a different experience. But if you're choosing out of your own free will to block God's will, you're going to have the experience that is happening, either to wake you up or to take you deeper into your sleep for your next incarnations. That's just what it is. There's nothing bad. There's no God punishing anybody. There's just God amused, I am sure, observing the ways that we're using our power. So many different ways. The Arabs do it one way, the Hindus do it another, the atheists do it another, the whites do it one way, the blacks do it another, the women do it one way. It's okay. All of the different variety of ways for us to experience this experience of this incarnation is okay. So when you recognize that everybody's doing what they want to experience, doesn't matter if they don't remember that it was a choice, it was still a choice. Then what can you be right about? There's nothing to be right about. There's nothing to say wrong about. There's no judgment there. There's no comparison. There is simply consciousness being what it is. Infinite expressions of the divine with total complete free will to either extend the kingdom, be the love and the light and shine it, or to have an experience of blocking it. Well, planet Earth has been blocking the light for a very long time, and now many of us are moving on. Been there, done that, time to go to another dimension, time for something different, not good, not bad, different. Because you've already been there. Be you glad that you are told where happiness abides, and seek no longer elsewhere. If happiness is here, because you connect with God, stop looking outside of yourself. You will fail if you keep looking outside, but it is given you to know the truth and not to seek for it outside yourself. Everybody is going to eventually hit the wall where they're going to fail finding love, finding God, while they continue to block the light. It is not until we stop blocking the light that we will see the light has always been there. This is why in absolute dark places, there's always a story of somebody who is kind. Kindness is God. A story of somebody who gave the shirt off their back to somebody. The story, I remember growing up and hearing stories, and my dad was in the military in Korea and Vietnam, those wars back in the 60s, 50s, whenever that happened. And I told him I'm not good with dates because I don't need to remember all that anymore. I memorized them in school. I had to memorize and regurgitate them in school so I could pass my grade because I wanted to do it right. I wasn't happy back in those days. Oh my God. But anyways, I remember hearing stories that my dad would tell me that when they were doing horrendous things to the Koreans and the Vietnamese and spraying those people with napalm and people's bodies burning, and they were running with their bodies on fire. I remember my dad would tell me stories of people who would take the shirts off their back. Some of them were, the military, and just cover these people to try and get that fire off. And the kindness is everywhere, but a little bit of kindness definitely goes a long way, but we need a lot more of it, which is what's been happening. A commitment to do what allows all beings to be happy. And to allow all beings to be happy, we have to align with God. And you could say that is the right way, but even God wouldn't say that's the right way. That is the way that is funner and easier and available to all of us. But the way of suffering is a way also that we have the ability to choose. And when we don't come inside and connect with God so we can get the guidance to go in this way, to follow the trajectory of where we are going to find the joy, the fun, the people that we will connect synchronistically to create that new earth at a higher dimension, higher frequency of consciousness, we will do what all egos do. And we will destroy, we will hurt, we will cheat, we will lie, we will be secretive, we will hoard, we will hold on to things. That's what egos do. Because they believe they're conditioned. Egoic thinking is conditional on I get my safety from the outside. And if I have it, by gosh, I'm right. This is the way to do it. That's why people who operate from their ego cannot be happy. They cannot be happy. They seek pleasure, always seeking pleasure. And then they have the karma that brings them the pain because they're not in total, complete, sustainable joy that comes only from knowing who they are and what's going on here. Let me go to paragraph number 2. No one who comes here to this planet, but must still have hope, some lingering illusion, or some dream that there is something outside of himself that will bring happiness and peace to him. We all incarnate knowing that this is a planet of external power, external idols, where ego rules and creates the world that we have seen is a world of suffering. We incarnate knowing that we're bringing love and light to illuminate the path, and we get sucked into the story. And those who remember the truth of who they are, then listen to the call for God, will exit the insanity. But we all come here to do that. Now, the new earth, nobody's going to come to the new earth to do darkness. Nobody's going to come to the new earth to start believing in hierarchy. That's not going to happen. That frequency, everybody born into that frequency is going to be born to conscious, awake parents who will raise their children. As I'm participating with my grandchild, that all answers are within. That is the way that I am going to be working, that I am working with my grandchild. That's what I know I have to do as the elder that knows what has happened, not to indoctrinate him in the old to seek outside, but to remind him of what has always been true and to go within. If everything is in him, this cannot be so, going outside of ourselves for peace and happiness. And therefore, by his coming, he denies the truth about himself and seeks for something more than everything, as if a part of it were separated off and found where all the rest of it is not. Yes, for a while, people are going to incarnate looking for the outside world to give them happiness because they're going to be indoctrinated in that because there's still a lot of unconscious parents on the planet. But we do that by choosing, knowing we're going to forget that. But at the same time, knowing that so many of the children today knowing that somebody already knows the way and they're going to help remind me. Do you know that that's an experience I had with my grandson before he was born? I could feel his presence came to me. And in that presence and in that feeling of knowing, oh my goodness, I'm talking to my grandchild, my future grandchild, he wasn't even born yet. I felt this message very clearly that I, as his grandmother, was here to help him remember who he is so that when he got to the place that he was grounded in his remembrance and he felt completely stable in his truth, he was going to take me further because he has knowledge that I don't remember yet because it's so buried deep down for me. It's so more surface for him. If he doesn't bury that truth, it stays there. Mine, so many decades buried, it got so deeply buried that he is going to help me find it. And the way he will help me find that is because he's going to embody it. He's going to vibe it. And when he lives at that frequency, it's going to bring my truth back up. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for the amazing experiences that I'm going to have my grandson when he's at that stage where he's remembering things that he tells me, abuelita, it's time for you to learn this. This is going to be so exciting. I'm learning from him already. I am absolutely already learning from him. Oh, it's amazing to watch him. Sentence number 4 in paragraph 2. This is the purpose he bestows upon the body, that it seeks for what he lacks and give him what would make him complete. Yeah, we come into this body, we come into this planet to forget who we are. We take on these bodies and think this is who we are. And then we use these bodies to bow down to all the idols that we have made outside of us. So we use this body believing that it's not complete. It lacks something. We got to get something. I got to get something from the outside. I got to get somebody to love me. I got to put something in it because we don't remember that we are complete. And thus, he wanders aimlessly about in search of something that he cannot find, believing that he is what he is not. This is what humanity has done for all of these thousands of incarnations, looking outside of ourselves, using these bodies as ways, idolizing movie stars, trying to become like them, trying to change who we are, all of it in an attempt to become what we're not, which perpetuates the stories of separation, perpetuates the forgetting of the truth of who we are. So absolutely amazing. Give me another quick second here. My son had come over to visit, and my housemate is down there, and she's talking to him, and I can hear them. So as it gets a little louder and louder, I didn't want the distraction here. But anyway, so this is so important that we understand. Jesus wants us to know. He showed us the way. He showed us the life. He showed us the truth. When he said, I am the way, it's no different than I know I am the way. My life is an example of the shift in consciousness from ego to God, from fear to love. I am not all the way here. I'm not where Jesus got yet. Now, part of me is there because I've never left my being with God, being with Jesus, being that consciousness. I've never left there. The greater part of me is still there, but I am shifting from my lower self, activating more of my truth as I cross that bridge and I continue on that path because I am committed. There's no way I'm going to go back. I know none of you are going to go back, but I am at a place in my journey where I don't have to entertain the ego because I know ego's just thoughts. If I don't believe those thoughts, there is no ego. And we have got to get to the place that we cultivate such a strong relationship with God within us, that our alignment is so solid that nothing can shake it. Nothing shakes my alignment with God. A few things might try to disrupt my what I'm focused on, but all I have to do is say, oh my goodness, that's an old thought. I'm not going to listen to that. And my alignment comes right back. I don't have to work at it. I don't have to do any work to get there. I just have to choose to stay in joy, to stay in love, to stay in honesty, that I and the Father are one. And for me, what God is nothing but infinite life. It's eternal, forever. There is no fear of death here. God is love. It loves all that it creates because in its infiniteness, and the other thing that it is creator. So it is constantly creating so much to love. It is one with all of it. It loves all of it. No judgment about anything, and it is eternal. So all I need to do is to remember I'm eternal. There's no fear of death. I'm enjoying this lifetime for however long it lasts. But goes tomorrow, it goes tomorrow. That's okay. I'll be back. I know that I'm a creator of my reality. I don't blame anything on anybody else. I take 100% responsibility. So there's no judgment there. There's no shaming. There's no blaming. Oh my God, so nice. I know that I am love. So there's no need to judge. There's no need to hate. There's no need to shame anybody else. So if you're being love and you know you're eternal and you know that everything, you're one with it, so what would you want to accuse or blame? And it gets easy. You're just loving all that is, knowing that if you don't get it done in this lifetime, it doesn't matter. As Abraham Hicks says, you can't get it done and you can't get it wrong. There's no way to mess up. There's all kinds of opportunities here for us as we continue on this path to align with the truth of who we are. But you cannot have that experience until you seek not outside yourself and you come inside and make a commitment to stop needing to be right about what the ego world has taught you and be happy that you are eternal. Begin to create a complete relationship with the truth of who you are. Those four things are pillars for me. I am eternal. I am creative. I'm one with all that is, and love is all there is. Four simple things. Am I loving all that is because I'm one with it? Am I doing that? Well, why not? I created it. And if I'm not getting it done that way now, don't worry, I'm eternal. I'll get another chance. And I don't have to be eternal in terms of having a death experience and coming back to do it again. I can do it again every now second. Everything is a holy instant where I can choose again to align with the truth of who I am. Again, it's very simple. You're eternal. Everything is eternal. Everything is one. You cannot not be one with all that is. And all beings that is, including the crumbling world, we're one with it. We created it because we're co-creators in this experience. We were created in the image of a creator to create. And if you know you're one with all of it, you love all of it because you're one with it. And those four truths, when those four truths become the pillars of what you operate from, your life changes. I'm going to use that as my title for this, the 4 pillars of truth. I like that title. Awesomeness. So once you get clear that you have made a decision to come in and find God, you're going to find God and you're going to come to the same answers. You're going to come to the same truths. There are no other truths. And that's why you don't want to be right about ego stuff, because the ego doesn't know the truth. The ego operates on lies. That's why you do not want to defend anything righteousness that is made up by the world. That was a hard lesson for me to learn. Every single time I thought, what? That's not right. Then I've been wrong my whole life. Have I been stupid? And I had to deal with that. Yeah, that was pretty stupid what I did. It wasn't wrong. And stupid doesn't mean that I'm not intelligent. It just means that I listened to the side that pulled me into the darkness. I let it happen. Why? Because I came to forget. Came to forget the light. I came to experience the darkness so I could be the light in the darkness as God started waking up inside of me, as Jesus started leading me. And then I remember the truth of who I was. And then I was the light that got out of the darkness, but I've illuminated the path for so many. How can I call that wrong? It wasn't wrong. So it was not right. It's not wrong. It's neutral. Just one more bit of creativity used in that way. Now I want to use my creativity in this way. Makes the journey so much smoother, so much easier. Takes all the pressure off. I don't have to be guilty about anything. I don't have to have shame. There's no need for fear. Doesn't mean that my ego doesn't throw a fearful thought, but I just don't have to buy it hook, line, and sinker like I used to. Oh, there's that, little fish trying to seduce me into biting the hook. No, I can feel very easily what a lie is from the ego, because you got to contract to believe it. And I'm too expanded to contract and not know the difference. Absolutely amazing. So thank you for being here. This has been such a fun conversation, thank you for being my Patreon members and in the community. So I get to share this with you. It just absolutely fills my heart having a place where I get to contribute, I get to give, I get to be a part of something so incredibly amazing. So let's open this up. I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts about this? Please share. Did you get some nuggets today?
Hi, could you repeat those 4 pillows again? I think I only got 3. I was writing them down.
Okay. Okay. Yes. 1, we are eternal life. No need to fear that. The second one, well, they're not in any particular order. The next one is that we are creators of everything. Good, bad, and different, all of it is we are creating it. We're creating because we are created in the image of a creator. The other one is that we are one with all of it. We're connected because it's consciousness, it's energy, it's all connected. And because it's all connected, it only knows love. There's nothing to not love. Everything is love, expanding, expressing. So we're one, we are love, we're creators, we're eternal. Super, super simple. If that becomes the platform you stand on, and if things don't match up with that, then you know the ego got involved. Do you like that?
Yeah, I had put truth down and I wasn't sure where to put the truth.
Truth is all of that. All of that is the truth. That is the only truth that is.
Oh, okay.
Laina, I'm getting only 3. I am eternal. We are creators of everything, good, better, and different. We are one with all, so love everything.
Yeah, so that's love is the 4th one. So let me say them again. Eternal.
Okay.
Creators.
Yeah.
One with all that is. Loving all that is.
Oh, okay.
And that is the truth of who we are. Anything else is not true. Everything else is an experience that gives rise to the ego.
Okay. I just wanted to be sure.
Yes, you got it. You got it. So did you get some nuggets from today's conversation?
Yeah, I definitely did. And a lot of it just revolves around would I rather be right or would I rather be happy? I heard that from Wayne Dyer many, many years ago, and I just loved it. And it helps, you know, making decisions. Do I want to be right? Do I have to be right about this, or can I just let it go, let God, and be happy? So that was that was very powerful for me.
And you know,
Yeah.
Wayne Dyer is was a student of A Course in Miracles.
Oh, I bet. That's what I thought. You know, when he said it, yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah, if you listen to some of his interviews, and believe in some of his later books, he definitely mentions his connection to A Course in Miracles.
Yeah. Well, so just thank you for all the reminders of who I am in truth.
Absolutely. It is my pleasure, sister. My honor that we get to come together and create this portal that allows for all of this to come through. I couldn't sit here by myself and open this up and have these kinds of things come out. It really, truly, when two or more are gathered, I'm just a willing portal, and boy, God uses me. So thank you for being there and contributing and receiving and contributing and keeping that cycle going, because that's how we expand love. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. What about you, Dondra? Did you get some nuggets?
It's just reiterating for the last week or so, the first thought that comes to my mind, or I allow to come through when I wake up, is I'm the creator of everything that's going on around me to keep me from going into so I just repeat that over and over, and it grounds me and helps me get started with whatever I've got to handle.
Yes. And I am the creator of this experience is meant to strengthen us. It's meant to make us feel powerful. It's not meant to, oh my God, I created this horrible thing. No, this thing is here. I can deal with it. And it is, let me break it apart. Let me see, why would this come? Why would this be happening? Then we go into what the Course says. Everything is a lesson God would have us learn. So then we begin to use it and learn from it. And why is it? Because everything that we're learning is to help us see, do I want to repeat this or not? That's all. If you want to repeat it, do it again. You're going to encounter the same things. But insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different result. Once you realize, whoa, if I'm creating, why am I creating insane experiences? Let me use my mind, connect with God, get some clarity, align with creativity, and now let me create something new. Well, while we're repeating, we cannot be creating. Repetition is a block to creativity. It's a block to something new. So for us to be able to have something new in our experience, we must become new. We have to become a new being with a mind that is open to creativity. Then we are the change we want to see in the world. If you want to see something new, you've got to be the portal for the creativity to flow. Because the creativity is not flowing in a world that's repetitive. How much creativity can you have with people who've been in office for 60 years? I mean, there's no creativity there. They just keep repeating, regurgitating. They surround themselves with people who think the same thing, and it becomes an echo chamber, and they're all telling each other the same thing. This is why in something like government, you have to have term limits. Otherwise, we are hearing the same thing forever. And with that much power, you know that they can control election things. When the ego's involved, there is lying, there is conniving, all that is happening. And until we wake up and say, we don't want that anymore, we cannot allow creativity of the new. That's why so many young people don't get into office, because even if they attempted to, their ideas are poo-pooed because the old people know the right way. And not that there aren't a few older people there that have a lot of wisdom and they're wanting to share it, to impart it in a good way, but the majority inside of a 3D world is self-serving. That is why we have to be the change we want to see in the world. And the only way to change that is by becoming the change. And how do you change? You come inside and unplug from the external echo chamber that keeps regurgitating the same thing, going nowhere. Come inside, clean things up, remove the guilt, remove the shame, let go of the blocks. All those blocks are blocks to creativity, are blocks to joy. You remove all of that. Now you become a vessel that God can flow. It's creativity through you. And once you are clear, you are flowing. And as you flow, you're co-creating the new you just are, by virtue of bringing in new light, fresh light, new perspective, a different way of looking at things. Just choosing to be happy versus right, that is so foreign in the world. That alone is like, whoa, that blows people's mind when you say, oh no, I just want to be happy. I don't need to be right about this. If you want to see people call you crazy, tell them you no longer need to be right about anything. And they will think you have gone off the deep end. Especially if you, like me, were very opinionated and needed to always be right. So funny. Well, thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate this. I'll get this posted into our Patreon channel. Dondra, I hope you were able to find it, but I love these conversations on Wednesdays through this Patreon community, and I absolutely love it. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And of course, if you want to follow the Course in Miracles lessons or introductions to A Course in Miracles, they are all on my YouTube channel inside of 2 playlists, super easy to find. If you have anybody that is curious about the Course in Miracles, tell them to go to my YouTube. They can get the link for the introduction to A Course in Miracles and learn about it, what it's about, before they dive into the 365 lessons that breaks down how I was able to shift from ego to God, how I moved down that bridge. Those 365 lessons, doing them over and over and over again, is what allowed me to come to the place where I don't seek outside myself anymore. So, and I break it down. Not only do I read the lesson, I explain what it means. I share examples of how I did it in my own life. So if you want to go through any lesson, if you're ever inspired, any lesson, find the lesson in your book, go to YouTube, go to the playlist, because they're all in order, and open up the lesson and follow along with it. So, all right. Have a beautiful day. I guess next week when I see you, it will no longer be, I'll see you. It will, wait a second, it'll be October 5th when I see you next week. Is that so? Wow. Time is flying by. All right. See you in October. Love you all.
Love you. See you Saturday.
Yes. Now I'll see you Saturday for our workshop. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.